With climate change making extreme weather events more and more common, it's become increasingly difficult to run an agriculture and forestry estate. We might not get a great view today due to the fog, but we're standing here on the Weissenstein, which is one of the highest points in the estate. And that means that any precipitation that falls around here is gonna go into the rivers and the ponds further downhill. This hilly landscape means that we have to prepare for extreme weather events with extreme rainfall and snowfall high up in order to then have this trickle-down effect to reduce the flooding that's going to happen further down. Hi, it's Johannes, and in this video we're going to go on a tour of the estate. We're going to inspect some roads, some ponds and the machinery to see how we're preparing for winter. We've already had some beautiful fall days the last couple of days, but it's on days like this where you can barely see anything that you are reminded of how the force of nature is gonna catch up with you if you don't prepare properly. And if we don't prepare, it will hit us badly. Talking about water, which is essentially the element that we are dealing with here, it's a careful balancing act because on the one hand, you don't want to drain the forest in the back, but also you have to protect the roads and make sure they don't get washed away. I made this other video about a brand new road that we built, and you can check it out by clicking the link in the corner. When you build a brand new road, it's easy to already plan for water masses coming down and impacting your system. Here on these established roads where we are now, it's not so easy. With the many kilometers of road that we have, we also have to maintain the side of the road to make sure that it's not clogged up with trees, branches, leaves, especially in the fall. Now all the leaves are coming down, creating additional material, blocking culverts and blocking the water that will inevitably come in winter and may then be a problem later on. For example, we have a culvert here that I remember being a problem last spring when we had some heavy rainfall. These old culverts are still built from granite rocks and multiple components, sections that are put together when they were building these roads many years ago. Nowadays, we work with huge concrete ones that make them a lot less susceptible to failure. Here we can see one of those culverts in action. Water is coming down from this little stream right here and is going to go underneath the road right there through this culvert right here. Now, talking about steering and controlling the water that is coming out of the forest is one thing. We actually want to keep as much water in the forest to make sure it doesn't dry out. The wet season in the winter is a chance for us to fill up the reserves in the forest as it rains down to then benefit from that liquid gold when the drier periods and the summer comes around. It's for this reason that we keep and maintain a lot of ponds around the estate. Ponds like this, but also bigger ones further down closer to the village. Obviously with a focus on keeping as much water as high up as we can, because once the water is further downstream, you can't get it back up. Also further downstream, more and more water comes from everywhere around, so that creates a pressure on all of these narrow points, which we will see in a second. We're now at one of our larger lakes, and as the ducks are flying away, I want to talk about something that concerns these larger bodies of water. These really give us an opportunity to play a little bit with the water that comes down. We were just higher up there, and in the winter when the water will come down here, it will obviously inevitably flow through this lake. And by lowering the level of the lake in autumn when the rainfalls are still not as dramatic, that allows us to keep this buffer. So when we have heavy rainfalls, it just fills up in this buffer and it doesn't continue flowing further down the streams and cause problems even further down. It's like this trickle-down effect that we try to take advantage of and be ahead of the curve, if you will. We're not talking much, we're just talking a couple of centimeters. But if you can see how vast this lake is, that makes a lot of difference in terms of volume. We're just talking about a delay, so that in the event of some extreme rainfall, there's this buffer here. Water in its liquid state is not the only thing that threatens the roads. We make heavy use of the roads during the harvesting season, trucking loads and loads of trees over the roads, driving on them with our pickup trucks, inspecting the forest. That's why inevitably they get damaged. When these potholes, however, become bigger and bigger and inevitably get filled with water, that then causes the freeze, thaw, damage to the roads. Think about a glass bottle that you had in the freezer and then you take out and it bursts. The same thing can happen to the roads, and that many times over, because you have several freeze-thaw moments in a normal winter. That's why we grade the roads with special equipment and occasionally also add some filler material to make sure that these holes don't get out of control. Doing this in autumn is important work to prepare for the winter. All of these preparations have to happen right after the harvest and before the first snowfall. So while we are very busy preparing the fields for winter as well, making sure that we get the right timing for putting the seeds in the ground, we have to make sure these things are ready in the forest, preparing for the inevitable heavy rainfalls. But what if it actually snows? So we also have to get our machinery and equipment ready for potential snowfall. This means putting on winter tires on all the road cars and making sure the snowplow is working and ready to go. We try to keep snow plowing to a minimum because it actually damages the road every time you push over the road with the snowplow. The sediment that you push away in the winter, you'll have to put back on come spring. This particular big snowplow that we put on the John Deere is one that has the ability to tilt in the middle, and that helps to just keep direction going when there's a lot of snow. Snowplows, big and small, all have to be checked, minor repairs done, and then transferred onto the machines that are actually still in summer mode. So there you have it. These are just some of the preparations that go into getting the estate ready for winter. If you want to keep learning more about what we do around the estate and other things regarding family business, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you for watching.